are set and ready to go green here for round number 9 of the 2023 FBRL Hardee's Nashville Series season here at Nashville Super Speedway. It's the final race before Talladega. Richard Johnson on pole position alongside the points leader Corey Williams. Ryan Butcher and Doug Locker occupy the second row. And here we go. Green flag in the air here at Nashville Super Speedway. Richard Johnson immediately through turn number 1 takes the lead from the 14 of Corey Williams. Corey in the 14 just let Richard Johnson go by. Didn't really put up too much of a fight, but here comes Corey on the 14, trying to get up to the 10 of Richard. Ryan Butcher from the second row qualified really well. And this A team has been struggling in qualifying to begin the year, but they managed to get a good run tonight, and they're trying to see if they can take advantage of it here. Richard Johnson, who is trying to continue his season so far, which has had a up and down start, but in recent weeks has been pretty positive overall. And he pulls away from the 14 of Corey Williams here, as Butcher comes up to the 14, trying to see if he can take second place away. Here comes Ryan Butcher. He's going to make a dive to the bottom lane beneath the 14 of Corey Williams. And Butcher, with a nice move, he's going to make the pass on the 14 of Corey. So Butcher, he seems to have a really strong car tonight, and he is trying to see if he can get Shane Bignacca Racing's second win. And continue the momentum that this team has had over the past couple of weeks. Butcher's had to make a lot of recovery drives this season, and he's excelled almost every time he's had to do it. And he wants to prove he can run up front consistently here. Trying to get a good run to 10 of Richard Johnson. Here's Ricky Freeman Jr. in the number 57 for Little Falls Motorsports. This is the first time this 57 has qualified for a race this season since Daytona, with Anthony Marchese, who got that car in the race with the Champions Provisional. And Freeman Jr. Recently released from his ride in the Napa Truck Series with Single Z Racing. He's picked up an opportunity here in the Hardee's Napa Series. He's going to be running for a couple of different teams throughout the season. He's going to be with Little Falls Motorsports, he's going to be with Spartan Motorsports, and he's going to be with Great Lakes Motorsports. So he's going to be basically running full-time for the rest of the year. And while it is a bit late for him to really make a run at a high points finish, he's going to try and take this opportunity here and finish out the year strong. He did score a top 10. This is not his first start of the season, actually. He drove the number 77 in Autumn Hill for Spartan Motorsports early in the year. Got a top 10, which was a bit of a surprise. And he's trying to see if maybe these Hardee's Nashville Series cars are just better suited for his driving style. And considering he's out racing a Fisher Motorsports car and a Red Bull Racing car, I would say that is probably the case. One of the interesting stories that came over during the off week was the firing of Nick Pericles, who was released from the team this past week, and it's been replaced with Chase Marks. Now, for longtime viewers, this name may seem a little familiar, as Chase Marks, making his first start of the year for Sanders Performance Autosport. This is not his first time in the Hardee's Nashville Series. Back in 2020, 3 years ago, Chase Marks drove about half a season with Roush Family Racing and was let go during the middle of the season after after having to be released for sponsor and team personnel reasons. And he's been gone running in the late models in the Midwest for the past couple of years, but he's back and he's got an opportunity here. And it's a bit ironic because this 90 car is Spa is the successor to Roush Family Racing. And so Marks is in a way has come back to the team that kind of let him go. Granted, it's a bit different looking now, but Chase Marks is getting a second chance here, and he's making the most of it so far, running in 26th, which is not bad for someone who hasn't raced here in a couple of years. I'll tell you what, the man on the move right now is Christian Vargas in the 51 car for Flipside Motorsports. He started 15th. He's up to 5th already in the first 12 laps of this race. And we've seen Vargas run up front on these intermediates a couple times this season. Almost had a top 5 at Kentucky before a late race incident. Was running in the top 5 at Homestead for a good chunk of the day until he got involved in a wreck with Shear. I'm sensing a pattern, but Christian Vargas has been, he's proven he's gotten some good speed on his intermediates, and he's showing it off here. Also, not to mention the run at Boston, got up to the top 5 before unfortunately a difficult pit stop set them back. So this 51 team's got a good intermediate package, and they're putting it to good use tonight, running up here in the top 5 after starting from roughly just the top half of the mid-pack area. And here's Doug Locker on the 35 for Gatlin Down Incorporated. We've seen some solid qualifying runs from this 35 team this year, and this was one of their best ones. And Lockro has been really strong this weekend here in Nashville. And he's trying to see if he can hold that spot here. As up here forward the lead, Corey Williams has caught the 10 of Richard Johnson, and he is going to make the pass on the 10 of Richard here. Here comes the 8 of Butcher, trying to take advantage of this opportunity here. Richard Johnson, he is stuck on the outside. As Butcher goes by, here comes Breeding, here comes Vargas. Corey Williams, your points leader, has now taken the lead. And we've seen how strong that 14 car is once it gets out to a lead. But he's got it here. Ryan Butcher in the 8 car looking to try and get a run here. Butcher made a pass once on the 14. He's going to have to try and do it again, but not quite here. Not quite yet. But back to what we were saying on Doug Lockro. He's been pretty quick so far this weekend here, and they're trying to see if they can get a top 10 finish. Currently the second highest running Dodge in the field, second to Richard Johnson, so a really strong run for Lockro so far, and he's trying to hold off the 71 of RJ Bishop. Ooh, Vargas makes a dive beneath the 9 of Nick Breeding, and he's going to get right up next to him here and gets a good run through the corner and off exit. So Vargas, he's continuing his push towards the front as he gets by the defending series champion of Nick Breeding. And now he's got his sights set on the 8 of Butcher and the 14 of Corey Williams. But you can see Vargas, man, that he throws that car in so well, and then it sticks pretty decently off the corner despite the strong entry. So they've definitely got this car hooked up pretty well tonight over in the 51 camp. Here comes Vargas setting up a move. Now, the last time these two battled didn't go very well, as the 51 of Vargas just barely nicked the 8 of Ryan Butcher. And the last time we saw these two battle on track, it kind of resulted in a bit of chaos. But I'm sure Vargas probably remembers what happened last time. We would probably prefer not to make a repeat of that, although I can't imagine Ryan Butcher's too thrilled. And I think Butcher is just going to let him go, because I think Vargas is a little bit more eager than he is at the moment. And there they go. Vargas cleanly makes the pass on Butcher. And Vargas, who has gone into 2 Shea Binyako racing cars in intermediate so far this season. I'm sure that was a pretty welcome sight if you're the SBR team. I'm sure they're they're racing when Vargas does maybe put them on edge for the time being here. And what's probably not helping is now Butcher is trying to get the spot back from Vargas. Can't imagine Butcher was too thrilled about that slight contact, but it is what it is at this point. Back in last place, Lilith Onyx has lost touch with the field. She is struggling right now in this 59 car. She's about 2 seconds off Zachary DeLello. And she is definitely not having a good night so far. Here's the rest of the back of the field here. Brad Stover, he gets passed by DeLello for the 40th position. Justin Henley, who is, ever since that top 10 at Homestead, this 45 team has really been struggling, and it just doesn't seem like it's getting much better here. As they drop below the top 30 Norris points recently, Alexander Rowe in the 86, he's been really struggling this past month as well. And he's trying to right the ship here at Horizon Group, but it's a big contrast with the Sony Cup Series and Hardee's National Series programs for Horizon Group. On the Cup side, they're contending for a win every week. But over here in the Hardee Series, it's been a struggle, especially for the past 2 years. Here comes Christian Vargas, and a run on the 14 of Corey Williams here for the lead. And here comes the rookie to the bottom lane. And Vargas makes a nice pass beneath the points leader there. And Vargas takes the lead for the first time tonight. From 15th on the grid, climbs up to first in 25 laps. What a drive by Christian Vargas tonight. He is getting after it here. The two manufacturers that have not won so far this season are Mercedes and Mitsubishi. Two of the brand new manufacturers for this year. And Vargas would love to be the one to be the first to get that win for Mercedes in the Hardee Series. He's been having a really strong rookie year so far, finishing the top 10 in 4 of the 8 races completed. Still looking for that first top 5, funnily enough, but Vargas has just been really consistent. Ryan Reed up here in 11th place. He is trying to run down the 35 of Doug Lockrow here. Lockrow has unfortunately been falling back, but Ryan Reed, he's been having a good night so far. He was having a solid run at Boston too last week before the pit stops happened. But you have to imagine that Texas Motorsports, I mean, they had 2 cars running really well, but unfortunately pit stops set them back a lot, and you got to hope that they may have learned their lesson from that race, because they seem to have some decent cars. But it just feels like something gets in their way every week, and it's just head-scratching. Reed is a pretty solid driver, and LaPrade is still kind of an unknown, but we saw with the 40 James Storfox had a top 5 caliber car. So these cars are good. They just can't seem to put a full race together here. But Reed's having one of his strongest runs he's had in quite a while. But can they execute? So we have the top 9 are running basically in a pack here. It's interesting. They've managed to pull away from everyone behind. And they've used their cars to pull away from the rest of this field. And there's some very interesting names here as Shear makes a pass on RJ Bishop, who's driving a special Green Day Kroger car. Definitely one of the more cars that pop out, as does the 4 of Jeff James, who is running the Bet MGM scheme for the first time this year. A lot of really eye-popping schemes this weekend, and it's been nice to see here at Nashville. Just a lot of colors and a lot of celebration of music. But everyone's still stuck together here, and we're coming up the first pit stops of the night. This is going to be a 2-stop race if this goes green the entire way. And here we go, first pit stops of the night. Corey Williams will be the first person to dive. Now remember, the story of the pit stops for this Curtis team is get to pit road first and hold on to it. So I think the Curtis Racing has found their playbook, which is pit first every single week. And, well, you can't argue with the results. Here comes Vargas down the pit road. He's going to surrender the lead, it looks like, to Dylan Poteet as the 10 of Richard Johnson slides up towards the track. And luckily Poteet, I think, saw him coming because he washed up in response. But Richard Johnson, that's going to cost him about a second or two. That was a really difficult pit road entry for the 10 car there. Here comes Poteet, and ooh, he gets the grass as well. This pit entrance here in Nashville is one of the most difficult on the schedule, and you can see why. It definitely catches people off guard a little bit there. As Cameron Lessard, oh, that's interesting. Looks like Lessard's going to run the long strategy here. And Nick Breeding here as everyone comes out of their stops here. I think Nick Breeding lost a couple of spots. But there's Cameron Lessard. He's going to lead a lap as he is going to elect to take the overcut here. He's going to try and get the freshest tires in the field to make up some time. So it should be interesting to see if that works out for him. Well, things have changed a bit. A couple of laps ago, at the start of the pit cycle, the top 9 was separated by 1.5 seconds. Well, that's no longer the case. Instead, LePrat in the 42 is blown up. LePrat in the 42 is blown up. He's pulled off to the side. They're not throwing the caution yet. Brad Stover's slow on the bottom. We're just about to check the end of the pit cycle. And Dunn LePrat has blown up. No caution was thrown. We stay green. And Brad Stover was slow on the bottom. And he's coming to pit road. This is the second time he's pitting. And he's done. Brad Stover has parked the 39 for Young Motorsports. Well, a lot just happened, but let's take a look at Brad Stover here. Brad Stover. Oh, he ran out of gas. The 39 of Stover. Now, he pitted. Stover pitted. But it sounds like there's just no end. I mean, it sounds like he's out of gas. You can see the pistons are pumping, so the engine's working. But Stover looks like I think he just ran out of gas, but we'll have to check in with Young Motorsports to see what happened later, but that was bizarre. So here's what happens to LePrat. He's running behind Bouchard and his teammate Ryan Reed, and the engine just lets go in turn 1. I wonder if maybe he downshifted and it just shot the engine. But that is terminal, and that's going to be the end of Dunn LePrat's day. Or, well, night. Well, anyways, as I was saying, Corey Williams has taken the lead here in Nashville. He pitted first, and that seems to have worked out for him, as he has a 1.9 second lead. Before the pit cycle started, it was a 1.5 second difference between first and ninth, and now the difference between first and ninth is 9 seconds. That's how much a pit cycle can really change things here. So Corey has a lead, a 1.9 second lead over Christian Vargas. Now, as it stands, these two are running pretty equal lap times here. Or, okay, it's 2.2, so actually Vargas lost a few tenths. Now, granted, Corey has warmed up his tires. But Vargas has lost the lead. He's fallen to second place. Ryan Butcher now 4 seconds behind. He's in third place. Kev Shear running in fourth place in the 0 car. He's roughly at the halfway point. This field is really separated here. Nick Breeding, from what I'm reading here, looking at his pit stop chart, he ran a 17-second pit stop. So I think that's where he may have lost some time. Richard Johnson basically lost time from that pit road entry. I can't imagine that was very good for the car either. He's fallen to 6th place. Jeff James quietly running in 7th place. Rookie Dylan Poteet running in 8th place, as his rookie campaign has completely turned itself around. And Tim Fiegel, how about this? Tim Fiegel in the 87 has got up to the top 10 during the pit cycle here. Now, Fiegel was running just outside the top 15, so this 87 team, they really put in a good pit stop here, because it's got him several positions up the road. And this is probably the best run Fiegel's had so far this year, and maybe all of last year too. He's looking really good so far. Doug Lockrow in the 35 rounds out the top 10 for the moment. Well, unfortunately, Deja Vu has hit Texan Motorsports as Dun the Prad blew up, and to make things even worse, Ryan Reed, who was in roughly 10th place when the pit cycle started, he has fallen to 29th after another bad stop from the 24 team. They all selected to stay out maybe a little bit longer than some of the other guys, but second week in a row, a bad pit stop has really knocked the 24 team out of contention. You have to imagine I can't even imagine how Texas Motorsports feels about this. Just two smacks to the face in one pit cycle. You have to wonder what on earth do they have to do to get this team righted, because it's just been a struggle. How about Chase Marks? Sam's Performance Autosport really put in a clinic on those pit stops, because now Chase Marks is up to 12th place in his return. It's been 3 years since Chase Marks has driven a Hardee's car, and he looks like he hasn't missed a step. And not only has he not missed a step, he's probably gained 3 more dance moves at the same time, because he's looking really great here in Nashville tonight, and he is trying to run down RJ Bishop. And if I'm looking at this correctly, RJ Bishop is the highest running Ford, so Chase Marks trying to be the #1 Ford driver of the night, which I'm not sure anyone really could predict. Well, actually, I take that back. Tim Fiegel, who was up the road in 9th. So, what a day it's been for Sanders Performance Autosport here. Check out this conga line that has built up in the mid-pack from 13th all the way down to 20th, I think. This is nuts. Memphis Fisher is leading a pack of himself, Cameron Lessard, Brandon Beal, Noah Hart, Eric Rodriguez, Kyle Collins, Sebastian Kukalon, Diego Luggio, and the 62 of Griffin Lampo McDermott, and the 12 of Gatlin Downey. So right now this mid-pack is just hell. It's just a giant maelstrom of just battles here. As here comes Rodriguez underneath the 18 of Noah Hart. Rodriguez's teammate Vargas is running in 2nd place right now, so I think Rodriguez may be feeling the heat a little bit, maybe feeling a little bit pressure to maybe pick up the pace a bit. As that will get the 63 up to 16th, and he is hard charging towards Beal and Lessard. Bow for 4th here. Nick Breeding has caught the 0 of Kev Shear, and he's pulled the 10 of Richard Johnson with him here. Kev Shear right now is the slowest car in the top 15, as I think the 0 car may be struggling a little bit here on the mid-run / long run. As here comes Breeding to the inside of Shear. Shear fighting back on the outside against the 9. Side by side through turn number 1. Breeding clears the 0 of Shear. And Shear, he tries to get the run up the corner, but you can see the difference in a strength there between the 9 and the 0. So Breeding takes the spot here and has now got his sights set on Shear's teammate Ryan Butcher for 3rd. Less than 40 laps to go here. And with 1 pit stop remaining, Corey Williams is your leader, and he has a 2.5 second lead over Christian Vargas. 2.4 now. But Corey seems to, I think what helped there. Now, Vargas has 1 lap fresher tires in the 14, which isn't a massive difference, but it definitely should be helping Vargas, at least in the long run here. Now, I think what happened was Corey caught these 2 lap cars, the 2 Fitzwater Racing Team cars. That allowed him to get the draft and pull a bit of a gap on the 51. But now Vargas is getting that same draft, and he's now seeing if he can make up the time. 2.4 the previous lap, now 2.3. So yes, Vargas is starting to make up some ground here with draft. But Corey's coming up on more cars here as Rowe, Freeman, and Henley are just up the road. So Vargas is going to have to really push it to catch that 14 as it stands. Cameron Lessard has not really been able to make much of use of those fresh tires. He's got the freshest tires in the field, but Lessard just does not seem to be able to have the car to really make those gains here. And definitely a note for some of the crew chiefs here for this final stop. But Lessard definitely feels like maybe this was not the right decision. However, I mean, he's still running in 13th, which is pretty good for him considering how his oval races have been this year. He had a really good run in Nazareth, and he's trying to follow up on that here as RJ Bishop cuts down in front of the 84. That was aggressive. Bishop better thank Lessard for maybe backing off a bit there, because that could have been a little ugly. And Lessard, yeah, I don't think he's going to back out again for Bishop. But Bishop still keeps his distance with the 84, at least for the time being. Ryan Butcher is struggling. He was third. He is now free falling through this top 5 right now. He just lost third to Breeding, and now lost fourth to Shear, and now he's about to fall out of the top 5 as Richard Johnson goes by him, and the 84 Poti goes by him. So this 8 car, the long runs may not exactly be favorable towards them, because yikes, that is not a good look to have your handling just go away like that deep into a run. Gotta imagine they're gonna have to try and fix that on the final pit stops here, which we are coming up on as we are approaching 30 laps to go here in Nashville. Look at the run Dylan Poti gets here on the 0 of Kev Shear as Poti dives to the bottom lane. We talk about how Butcher has a bad long run car. The 83 of Dylan Poti, he's got a long run car. That 83 has all of a sudden come to life, and he's going to come up to 4th place on Kev Shear. And he may be looking for Nick Breeding as well, as Shear tries to get the run off the corner there, but you can see the difference in tires as Poti just he's hauling it. He's the fastest car in the top 10 right now as Corey Williams is coming to pit road here. So the final stop of the night, and Corey Williams again pits first. He was not going to let Vargas undercut him there. And, Kyle Collins, I think he may slip into the field there. We'll have to look at that. So we saw Kyle Collins had a bit of an interesting pit road entry in the far left corner of the screen. We're looking at Corey Williams here. So what happens here? Collins, he just goes a little bit too hard into the pit road entry as he slides up into Grattan. Almost wiped out Downey as well. Goodness gracious, Collins. Collins was in a coma once. He almost just put Grattan and Downey into one themselves. For heaven's sake. Oh, we got trouble! Dunlop goes around in the back straightaway! And he's in the middle of the field! And Griffin Lab McDermott, Noah Hart, and several cars pile into the 35! Oh, Ryan Reed! Commons barely missed it, and oh no, Millison, Robinson, and Hernandez couldn't see where to go! And they slammed the back of the 3 cars that were on the track, and the caution's out! What has just happened? A massive wreck on the backstretch in the entry of turn 3. And that will put the field under caution. And you can see the smoke all over turn 3 as Corey Williams comes around. He just came off pit road. I think they're going to keep him on the lead lap, it looks like there, as here comes the field pitting. Here comes Kyle Collins. He's going to come around. He's getting his lap back. I think these guys are just trying not to get trapped. But a massive wreck in turn 3 right at the start of the pit cycle, involving 6 cars, 7 if you count Reed. So here's what happens here. Doug Lockrow, Aaron Rodriguez, and Bishop get around Lockrow. Lockrow slid up the track there. And then RJ Bishop just slides into the 63, pushes him into the 35, which puts the 35 in the wall. And Griffin Lapo McDermott, several cars with nowhere to go, just slam into him. And Ryan Reed, there was no hole. Commons found it, and there was the rest of those guys who came and piled in. Ellison, Hart, Robinson, Hernandez. Another look at this here, and trying to see again with this look here. Oh, Rod Bishop, he just comes up, he slides at 63, and yeah, that was just way too aggressive by Bishop there. And look at what happens here. Oh, look, Griffin Lapo with nowhere to grow. Hard hits him. And then this is where Ryan Reed, Commons we thought Commons missed it. No, he got a hit of it. And then Ellison, Robinson, and Hernandez, I think they were expecting cars to be down there. They were slowing down, but I don't think they were able to see. And then plus with possible oil on the racetrack. Ryan Reed, man. I'll tell you what, Texas Motorsports, I don't know what is going on with this team, but just nothing is going right. This season and last season has just been a disaster. Every week it's something. The Prad blew up and Ryan Reed just had nowhere to go in that wreck, and just another terrible night for the Texas Motorsports team. I don't know what these guys have to do to get something to go right. But this is one of the most incredible streaks of the most unlucky moments of a team I have ever seen in motorsports. We're going to watch this contact with Lockrow again. Just watch this 35 goes. Lockrow gets hit in the rear, then hits the wall. And then this contact from Noah Hart. You can see Lockrow's got the car in the air and just clips the right side of the car. Luckily, it wasn't the driver's door. And look, Lockrow does a 360 in the air. So he gets credit for some style points, but that was not what Lockrow wanted. A top 10 run gone. And poor Griffin, Lapo, McDermott, Noah Hart, just victims. And then Ryan Reed, just nowhere to go. Comments here, let's see. Oh no, he did miss it. That debris I thought was from the 62. Well, it was, but it wasn't from Commons' contact. So Commons did miss it here. And then here comes the rest. Ellison went up, but I think he saw. I think the 3 just made a poor decision here, but Ellison, Robinson, Hernandez just come piling in, and just that was ugly. So with roughly about 25 laps to go here at Nashville Super Speedway, a massive big one right in the middle of the pit cycle, which has not really changed up too much of the field. Here's a couple of cars who are going to be taking the wave round. Cody Goforth, Julio Caesar, Joshua Michaels, Alexander Rowe, Ricky Freeman Jr. These guys will be going around. You can see they're coming around to get their laps back, or lap back, which is going to put them at the tail end of the lead lap. And lastly, Zachary DeLello. He was, after the pit cycle was concluded, he was scored as the lucky dog. So DeLello should be coming here. He's going to get his lucky dog. So DeLello will get back on the lead lap. He'll be at the tail end. Now Christian Vargas has taken the lead from the pit cycle here, as Corey Williams was on pit road when the caution came out. He got out before losing a lap, but Vargas was in pit road after, and he cycled basically ahead of him. So Vargas does retake the lead through the pit cycle. And we have now just taken one to green here with 24 laps to go. We'll be green at 23 to go at the line. And Vargas has got one heck of an opportunity here. Now, ever since the pack got separated earlier in the night, the 14 stayed ahead of the 51 pretty comfortably. But we have seen Vargas make that pass in the 14, so we know he has the capability to compete with this 14. But now they've got an interesting problem here, as they got Richard Johnson, Dylan Potey. Here's Lilith Onyx. She's a lap down, as DeLello was in front of her, so she didn't get the lucky dog. Butcher, Jeff James, Breeding. These guys have all roughly ran up front tonight. Jeff James has been a bit quieter, but a lot of these guys up here have been running up here at the front, so... But that was during a less stressful situation, I would say. So Vargas, with 23 laps to go at the line, he is your leader. Looking for his first career win, the first win for Flipside this season, and the first one for Mercedes. But he's got one heck of a battle ahead of him here. Green flag back in the air. Is this the final restart of the night? Vargas holds the lead through turns 1 and 2, but Corey Williams runs up to him immediately in the 14. Dylan Potey gets past the 10 of Richard Johnson for third. He had a great restart there. So Potey with a run. Up to third place here. Corey Williams now trying to hound the 51. Corey knows his 51 can beat him. He knows it. So he's got an advantage here. It's called experience. Vargas, he does not have many races in the Hardee's car. But Corey Williams, he's got probably the most out of anyone in FBRL history. So we got a very big David versus Goliath situation here. But check out who's showing up here. Dylan Potey. You want to talk about inexperience. He's got basically the least out of anyone in this top 10. But he's right up there with the 14. Here comes Potey with a run, the 14 of Corey Williams here. Will he look for second? Potey trying to get down to the bottom there. Corey gets a little bit loose. Potey has to back off for the loose 14. And that cut off his momentum there. That was very smart driving by Potey. The 14 got loose on entry. He backed out of it. But that ruined his momentum. I'll tell you what, man. Potey, he had some great long-run speed, so he may be someone to watch here as this race unfolds towards the finish. But right now, he is starting to lose some ground as the 14 and the 51 are beginning to try and pull away here. Coming to 15 laps to go here as the battle for a lead here is unfolding. with this dash to the finish here as Corey Williams slides up the track there, and he's going to use that to his advantage as Vargas slides up towards the wall there. He lost his momentum off the corner. Here comes the 14 of Corey. Williams to the bottom lane. He makes the pass on the 51 with relative ease. That was a nice move by Corey Williams. He went up the track and used the momentum of the banking to turn the car back down towards the bottom. And that allowed him to cut beneath the 51 as Vargas now, he is struggling in this 51 car. Here comes Poti in the 83 now trying to take advantage. Can Poti make the pass on the 51? 14 laps to go here in Nashville. Oh man, Christian Vargas, it took one slight little mistake for Corey Williams to pounce and take him. And Corey, the experienced veteran, used a different part of the track to find some speed. And Vargas just had no response for it. And the 14 is now beginning to pull away as I think Vargas is trying to recollect himself here. Here comes Poti to the bottom lane. Poti moves for second place against the 51 of Vargas. And Richard Johnson tries to get to the 51. He gets to his quarter panel, but Vargas gets the run off of 2. And he holds the 10. Meanwhile, here comes Jeff James in the 4. He has been running in the top 10 for most of tonight, but he has been quiet. But he is now on the prowl in the number 4 MGM car. Nick Breeding following in behind as well. He is trying to catch that 14. Him and Breeding and Corey Williams. Well, in order, Corey Williams and Nick Breeding are the top 2 in points. Breeding knows he needs to catch the 14 because Corey he's been so quick this year. And he's got to be feeling desperate here. And here comes Vargas. He gets a run off of turn 4. Uses a similar move to the 14 to get a run on the 83, excuse me. And he's going to retake second place from Poti. Poti now trying to battle back. He gets a good run off of turn 2. Vargas comes down. Vargas goes down. He's going to take a steeper lane to prevent the 83 from cutting under him. And this is exactly what Corey Williams wants to see. Vargas is racing a very defensive line against the 83 here. And you can see it's backing them up to the 10, the 4, the 9, and the 8 car here. 10 laps to go here in Nashville. Time is running out if you want to catch Corey Williams, and Vargas knows it. He is going to try and see if he can run him down, but he is being hounded by everyone behind him. Oh, it's getting testy. You see Breen made a big move on the 8 of Ryan Butcher. But how about Tim Fiegel in this 87 car? He is looking for Spa's 3rd top 10 of the season and what would be Fiegel's first in the Hardee Series over the last 2 seasons. But he's got to hold on here. He's got some strong cars behind him here who are going to try to run him down. But this has been a great night for Tim Fiegel. A night that he is very much needed here as he's now going to take the fight to Ryan Butcher in the 8 car. But cannot complete the pass there. Jeff James in the 4. He is getting a little aggressive here. He is all over this 83 of Poti. And Poti, he's lost momentum. He had to run the 14. He almost had second behind Vargas there for a brief moment. But unfortunately, he lost his momentum, and that's a shame. Poti looked like he was about to maybe challenge for this win. I mean, he still has sort of a chance, but he's now being hounded by Jeff James and Nick Breeding. But what a night for Dylan Poteet overall. He's just been... Poteet is not that the same. You would look at the first 4 races of this season and look at the last 4, 5th if you include tonight, and it's like a completely different driver has got inside this 83 car. And they have really been turning things around. Meanwhile, Vargas, 0.69 seconds behind the 14. It's not the nicest gap for Corey. You would like a bigger one here, but he's liking this pressure that's being put on by the guys behind him. And he's trying to ride it out here. Coming up on 5 laps to go here at Nashville Superspeedway. Corey Williams is on the hot seat to win this here. Vargas was slightly faster that past lap, but he's going to need more than half a tenth to make a run at the 14. Here comes Fiegel again on Ryan Butcher, looking for the spot against the Shea Benyako racing car, and he gets it. Fiegel passes Butcher for 7th. And he's now got his eyes set on Poti. And that 83 looks like it is having a tough time here. Meanwhile, Fiegel's car looks like it is just hauling the mail right now. He's looking really good. And Butcher, we saw how bad that car was in the long run. I think it's kind of happening to him again. SA car seems to just be really falling apart as the laps run. Well, not falling apart, but in terms of what they were running at the start, it's not looking good. But coming up on 2 laps to go here in Nashville, Christian Vargas is inching towards the 14. He's made him about 0.3 of a second, but he's going to need another 3 to get a shot at the 14. 2 laps to go here in Nashville. And Corey Williams, who has had an incredible first 10 races this season, he has the points lead by a full race, and he's about to extend it even further. Unless Christian Vargas can somehow will his way towards the 14, and Vargas makes a dive towards the bottom. He throws it in there into turn number 3 to try and make it stick. But it cost him there as the 51 lost the momentum here. The white flag is out here in Nashville. Vargas is going to throw this car as hard as he can into these corners. But Corey Williams, the ever consistent, the ever smooth, the ever dominant, he's just got to make it through one last set of corners here. Through turns 3 and 4. It's been a fantastic year for Curtis Racing and a fantastic start to the year for Corey Williams. Across the line, here in Nashville, Corey Williams extends the all-time wins list even further, and he scores yet another victory in the Hardee's National Series. This 14 team wants that title, and they are going all in. Corey Williams wins another Hardee's National Series race, and Christian Vargas, a career best finish for him. But man, he had the taste of victory right there, and it's a heartbreaker. But that was still a heck of a drive by Vargas. He took it to the 14 tonight, and that was an impressive drive, all things considered, from Vargas. Jeff James, a quiet night, finishes 3rd as he continues his season, which has just been absolutely phenomenal these past couple of months. Richard Johnson scores a top 5 in the number 10 car. And Dylan Poti with a top 5 finish for Red Bull Racing. He continues his rookie turnaround with a very impressive run there. Nick Breeding comes across 6th. Unfortunately, he's going to lose a bit of points to Corey Williams. Tim Fiegel in the 87. The 3rd top 10 for Sanders Performance Dial Sport, and it's their best finish of 7th. Kev Shear crosses the line quietly with 8th. Ryan Butcher falls to 9th, but a solid top 10 regardless. And Memphis Fisher, who had ran outside the top 10 all night long, he comes across for 10th.